Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Okay.
Feels like we missed the afternoon.
Well, we have. Yeah. We're here. We don't know where CJ is. He's gone missing again. So
On the sub.
we've got LB in, and we're going to just have a bit of a chat about what we've been up to.
Yep.
What have we been up to?
I know.
Firstly,
Go for it.
I just want to acknowledge traditional custodians where we all work, meet and play, and just pay the utmost respects to all our elders, past, present and the up and coming. And just thank our ancestors, our old people, for all the hard work that they've done in getting us where we are today.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So,
Now, what have we been up to? We just literally walked in the door.
Yes, we come back from a beautiful workshop in Chinchilla today. But I'm also on a high from our beautiful gathering last week. I like to call it the Ribbon Bar Love Bubble. So that always fills my heart and soul, that space. But leading up to it, I don't feel that way. Leading up to it, I'm quite stressed and overthinking all of it, but I'm so happy with how it turned out and all the beautiful support in the background that happens that support us.
Tell us a little bit about it. We had 68 people there.
Oh, and there's CJ, I think. We did have 68 people, and the theme was hope, healing, and inspiration. And all of the sessions were themed around hope, healing, and inspiration. And just magic. We had Jenny Wood do a beautiful art session, and if you could just see or even hear all the giggles and all the laughter in that session, it was fun because there was tears in other sessions.
Yeah, there was a few tears in there, yeah.
That was a really nice balance. Hey, CJ.
Hey, how are you both?
Good.
We didn't know where you were, brother, so we were just...
Congratulations, guys.
Oh, thank you. It was beautiful. It was good.
It was great. Yeah, I been watching. That's all. I've just been watching when I can. Yeah, fantastic.
It was good.
We hear you back in Cairns as well, so...
I'm back in Cairns as well. Yeah, doing some work up here for the week. So a couple more days to go, and I'm flying back to Bali.
Oh, flying back home.
Back home?
Yeah, fly in, fly out. You know, like FIFO mob, you know.
Well, it's probably quicker to get to Bali than the other side of the country, hey?
Well, it is, and it's probably a lot less, cost as well, I guess. So, hey, what are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just trying to get my iPad navigating this new technology. Just wants to turn sideways. Maybe it's an indication of what my day's been like. Standing on my head, look.
Well, I must say that's a first, Julie, so, well done for that. So.
I'm not sure what I'm doing with my thumb now either.
Yeah.
That was a thumbs down, that one.
No, no. Just wrong. How are you feeling, Charlie?
I'm feeling, getting there. Another day to go, which will be good. So, pretty good indeed. So, yeah, hopefully the yarding circles will go well up here on Friday, and then I'm back home. So, but good to be home though.
I bet.
Yeah.
Nothing like home.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah.
I've got a second home though, so.
Everywhere is home, Charlie.
Yeah, I know.
Hey? Everywhere is home.
Everywhere I lay my hat. What's that song? Who sung that song?
Was it Joe Cocker?
Yeah, Joe Cocker. Yeah.
Oh, Joe Crocker will do. Yeah, that'll do.
If that's the one you're thinking of.
No.
Maybe
no,
not.
No. Wherever I call
I'm
my
out.
home, lay my hat, that's my home.
I don't know. I might have been thinking about differences.
I think Lisa's on the track of you can leave your hat on, Charlie.
Oh, maybe
no, not that one. No, not that one.
Anyway, time for me to leave. See you all. Have fun.
That's a bit raunchy.
It was a bit raunchy. It was from a movie called 9.5 Weeks, I think. So
Definitely wrong song. Sorry.
Oh,
So how are we?
thanks, mate. Just trying to
Sound like you got a cold there, CJ.
be in here, but hey, what'd you say, bro?
You sound like you've got a cold.
I've had a cold, mate. Yes, ever since I've been back here. The weather just doesn't agree with me.
Very good. Now, we've got a very special guest tonight, CJ. We've already done our acknowledgement because we didn't know where you were. We thought maybe you didn't pay your bill again, but that wouldn't be the case because you're in Cairns now, so for a little bit.
Yep, I'm back in Gimoy and here on Yidinji land. So my respects to the people here and, ancestors as well, our elders, and also those emerging. So, but been doing that a lot lately. So it's been good.
Very good, brother. Now, I want to introduce
Go on.
Julie Ellis, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her sideways self. So,
yeah, that's impressive. I can nearly stand on my head if I just turn my iPad the right direction. Oh, hang on, I might be up the right way.
There you go.
There you go.
As I said, Julie,
magic.
No one has ever done that before, so well done. That's a first in over 5 years, so well done.
Excellent. I'm glad. Oh, no.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to stand on my head for the rest of the conversation.
You'll have to go into settings and put a lock on it or something. Yes.
Yeah, it must be my iPad. Sorry for the completely confusing.
I hear you like to be different anyway, so that's a good start.
We're looking up to you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm looking down on you fellas, which is not a good thing. That sounds very judgmental.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Julie.
I know.
Well, I would like to acknowledge that I'm on the land of the Yagara Turrbal people here in on the Wynnum side of Brisbane, of the Brisbane River, Meanjin. So I'm actually here delivering an Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander mental health first aid workshop for ATSITs. They're probably about the 4th, 5th or 6th workshop in over the past 3 years. And this is really disconcerting, looking at myself hanging upside down like a fruit bat. But so that's the space that I'm currently working in with people like Charlie and some other facilitators who do workshops when they have availability in those communities that they have relationship and connection and the ability to bring that message to in a way that gets good outcomes for those communities.
Beautiful. Very rewarding work as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did say to the group that we're talking to when we're talking about what are the sorts of self-care things that you do, I mentioned your live stream and said, I'm going to give you a rundown of, you might want to add it to your list of supports that you offer to some of those of your clients, perhaps, because, we can't have enough resources to offer to people, for those conversations and safe spaces.
And I think too, Julie, I mean, that's the beauty about, I think, what we all do is it creates that safe space, but it also, we do realise in the end, because some of us, it takes a while longer, that we can't do it on our own, and we need to have that support network behind us, and we also everyone needs someone to have a yarn too. So I think great work and well done to you both.
Well, these fellas, really all credit to them, because we send them all kinds of places. We ask them to give as much as they've got to give, and keeping in mind that even for those conversations, you've got to check your own, what your fill level is. Do I have enough in my cup to be given? Which is probably the first thing. I need to make sure they're in a good place in order to be able to deliver. And I don't want them, the outcomes to be at the cost of some of our facilitators who, without them, we would be much poorer, because they do such a great job of just creating those safe spaces, which is really what it is. It's not a performing seal. Nobody's, putting on any kind of act. It's a genuine ability to connect, I think, more than anything else, and to create those conversations and safe spaces. Two-way learning always, I think.
Oh, yeah, look, it definitely is, and it's probably a little more like 3 or 4-way learning a lot of the time. So, yeah, look, I mean, we again, it's all about that transfer of knowledge, isn't it? So, and it goes so many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And as I said, I obviously have got some learning in front of me, because I still have to work out how to operate in this space.
Well, look, we like to talk about the positives, Julie. So I'm going to give you one, and as I said before, you're the first person that's ever come on.
Upside down.
Excellent.
Down under.
I love that. Charlie, that brighten your day.
Just when you fall, Julie, just make sure you
put something under my head.
Yeah.
It's funny that my all the colour hasn't drained to my face or something.
Yeah.
Considering that I'm hanging from the ceiling. It's yes, it's a bizarre thing, because I went, I struggled to get in. So it was technology that I look and think. I ask the facilitators often to use technology that's new to them, and they have to navigate that space with as much support as I can give them. And sometimes it doesn't hurt me to have things not work for me.
Well, listen. Yeah, listen. We just got to go with what we've been given, I guess, and that's and that's what happens sometimes where we're out in community. And things aren't there, and all that sort of stuff, and we just got to keep on going. So
And you know what? I mean, we always say our biggest challenge is with the technology side of things. It doesn't matter. It might be one thing one day, another thing the next day. Like today we ran a workshop in Chinchilla on grief, and of course something popped up, and it took an extra 10 minutes to get started and all that sort of stuff, but it's all part of the journey. So
it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. And we're not going to be walking into some plush room with every facility that we can imagine, and not a lot of those community organisations have got that. So sometimes just sitting under a tree is all we can do.
Now, I am just having a look on my other screen there, Julie, and it is quite amazing that you're able to hang like that. So,
well, as long as it brings a smile, I'm happy to hang upside down. It means that people get to smile.
I'm sure some of our peeps that are on will have something to say. G'day, Julie. You're looking at the world a little differently tonight. Wonderful. And then we got Jenny Wood saying, "Wherever I lay my hat." I didn't see the first one of that, Jenny. Careful, CJ. There's some soil-borne bacteria causing illnesses up your way. Derek Wilson. So thanks, Brother Derek, and hello to you. Hello to Jen. Well done on the coming to the gathering, and I must say that a lot of people are saying how fantastic the art session was that you facilitated, and that it was one of their favourites of the of the whole gathering. So well done, Jen. And I don't know who said g'day, Julie.
Someone said that.
Someone said it.
Jen was there.
Yeah, Jen was there. Yeah.
JB. Oh my God, yeah.
Yep.
And Jen,
And
yes, it was Paul Young.
there you go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was a little bit of a different hat song that.
No, that was a different hat song. Yes, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
But it is very much Charlie, wherever you lay your hat. And you got plenty of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a few hats everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, you're wearing them, you're traveling with them, but
he's always wearing a different hat.
Yes, whether that's job hat or hat.
All right, now Julie, tell us a little bit about your organisation and what you guys do.
So the organisation that the contract is through, I look after a group of facilitators through corporate culture who subcontract to the National Wellbeing Alliance, and they currently are delivering. This is the third year of programs such as Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander mental health first aid, youth Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander mental health first aid, which are all, so those two are both delivered to adults. And then we have Deadly Thinking Youth, which is delivered to 12 to up to 20-year-olds. So those three workshops kind of give us a cradle to the grave conversation when our facilitators are kind of having the same sorts of topics they cover, just in ways that are, well, once they start doing Deadly Thinking Youth, and Charlie can attest to this because he's just done 2 days in Cairns delivering for youth, it's a little bit of a different pace, isn't it, Charlie?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And, I've got to say, JB and Julie, that, the last 2 days have been fantastic. Working with those young people, it's amazing what they know and also interesting what they don't know. So, but we hope to have left them with enough tools and to be able to, look after themselves firstly, but also look after their mates. A lot of them are down from the Cape and up in the Torres Straits boarding in Cairns, so they're definitely got home. There's that trying to fit in with everyone. The in groups and all that sort of stuff within the school itself, the college, the boarding, and then there's the aspect of the boarding house, I guess, and so they've got a lot on their plate. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of if not managed well, I guess there's a lot of potential to, not do so well or not feel so right. You know what I mean? So, thankfully the school's got a lot of support officers around them. They've got a wellbeing officer. They've got a student support officer. They've got a house parent, I suppose, that it's also looking after those guys once the teachers and the principals and everyone else goes home. It's their turn to take over their care. So, it's a quite interesting thing, and it's we did the 2 days with the young people, and now we're doing 2 days with a lot of the staff, their support staff, the head of, say years 9 and 10, and then 11 and 12, and all that sort of stuff. So they're all in part of this next part of the training. So, and they're doing the youth Aboriginal mental health first aid, Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander mental health first aid. So I guess if we can get them all on this, a better journey for everyone, I guess, in terms of their education.
So, what are some of the issues that these lads and girls are talking about?
Oh, mate, look, it's across the board, I suppose. The ones we've been talking to, I've been involved with a few of the. This is a little bit different, though. With those young fellas and young girls in boarding school, you know what I mean? So they're living away from home. So homesickness is a big issue.
Yeah.
Also, getting used to other people. And sometimes I kind of wonder as well, where they've come from. They come from very different places. Like there's people from Saibai Island in the Torres Straits, and then you've got Darnley. You've got people from Badu. You've got people from Moa. And, put all together in one place, it's kind of really relying on the relationship those islands have with each other, if you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting in that way. So they're now forming relationships, building relationships with kids from other outer islands and stuff. And there's a couple that's on TI themselves, but then mix them in with Arakoon and Dumaji and Burketown. All those kids come from those places as well. So now you're mixing Torres Strait Islanders and the Aboriginal people, boys together and girls together. So it's all about, I suppose, making sure that they're supporting each other. And I think today or yesterday, the Monday and Tuesday, the whole emphasis was around building those relationships and those supportive groups, you know what I mean, to be able to support each other, because it's not just an Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander school, I've got to say, JB, it's an blended school, so Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people and everyone else. So they really got to, and probably representative of the population of Australia, about 3%, I reckon, anyway, of that school. So, but they understand. There were a lot of a blend of a mix of younger kids like years 7, 8, 9, 10, and obviously the 10-year-olds were more, attentive, I suppose. 7s and 8s were really, very hard to keep their attention. Got a short attention span, so we didn't have to do the year 9s and 10s, actually pull them in line, and took a sort of a leadership role and said, look, come on, we want to learn this stuff. We've got to learn this stuff to look after ourselves.
Now, CJ, how beautiful is that to see that mentoring going on in an organic way?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And JB, these year 9 and 10s have been in the year 7s and 8s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's great to see. And the same with the year 11 and 12s as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, Derek just said young people teach us whilst open to learning, providing the right approach is taken. If they're yarning with you both, then also listening to you, much respect for the engagement created by CJ and Julie. Yeah, well done. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. So, I mean, wherever we go, everyone's worried about the young ones, so it's, they're our next leaders, aren't they? So we've got to get that right now.
Yep. And we did have a conversation around that. It not necessarily, it came from, I suppose, a roundabout way, from our the Deadly Thinking youth around leadership and, being role models and all that kind of stuff for their younger, siblings, I guess, and young people in their communities when they get back. They'll obviously be thinking that they've gone away and got their education and come back. They come back every now and then, and they've grown so much. You know what I mean? So it's about making sure that they're kind of leaving that legacy for their younger siblings. You know what I mean? So it's kind of really interesting conversation, changing the conversation a bit.
Can I ask also about living in two worlds? How are they finding that? So they're going from really remote areas and then coming into like the boarding school, as you say. So how are they going about living in those two worlds, if you like?
They're going all right. I think they're coming from a community. They're coming from a home that they had to share a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Yep. So share a bit of floor space or a bed or a blanket or whatever. And they're going to a place now where they have to actually own stuff. It's their bed, and sometimes they they slip back into that back in the home sort of space, and just see something lying, and they'll pick it up and say, "I'll have that," you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's because of their how they were brought up and everything. Everyone, I mean, but in a situation like that where you've got other kids from another culture, I suppose it could be seen as stealing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It's the old. You know, when you think about the old days when they're, you know, our mob would be, you know, grabbing a sheep and so that's ours. It's that same kind of scenario. Yeah, just got to learn I guess, the protocols there.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to bring you back into the conversation, Julie, there, even though you're hanging upside down again, but we'll get used to that, I think. So, yeah. So what are some of your thoughts on that, Julie?
I think the addition of Deadly Thinking Youth to the delivery of workshops has been, I can't probably understate the value of it, because what we're seeing is almost so kids are away at boarding school, for instance, and we do delivery there, and we're talking in their terms about the same sorts of issues. So if we're talking about anxiety and depression and what sorts of things can cause those, and what you can do in the way of self-care around your mental health, your social emotional well-being, where are the strengths for you, what are the things that help to keep your spirit strong. They're going home, so on, you know, term breaks and going back to community, and in some cases,
Hey, sorry, Julie.
Yeah.
Julie, we're really. You're very. Is that very low? Her volume, mate.
Yeah, it is a little bit low. I just turned it up, but there you go.
Is that any better? Might have been the way I was holding the
That
iPad.
is better, Julie. That is better. Yeah.
It's
Julie.
It's the holding the iPad,
Hey, Jules,
Charlie.
before you keep going.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, if you want to just turn your camera off, that might help a little bit.
Cool. Now you don't have to look at me hanging from the ceiling, and I can freely hold this thing any way I want.
About this.
I didn't actually mind it, actually.
We like something to break up, you know, the monotony.
Well,
so
you want someone.
Yeah, I think.
There you go.
I think that the benefits have been that we can be talking Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander mental health first aid with the community, for instance, who have kids away at boarding school, who come home for those school holidays. And it was the thing that I'd kind of been really hopeful about, that Deadly Thinking Youth would allow us to do, which is to be able to get those communities doing that cradle to the grave conversation about the same topic areas. Like, what is that going to look like for your community? Self-determined. What are your wants and needs for your community's future to be stronger in your social emotional well-being? And we've actually seen that, where the kids could join the conversations with the adults in the course, because they'd already had almost a precursor to that conversation in their Deadly Thinking Youth deliveries at boarding school. And I think the positives for us were seeing, like, I could relate to having to do schooling away from my mother, father and sister when I was young. And I'd lived with my grandmother, but my choice was my grandmother or boarding school. And I went, better to be with people I know, I think, with family, even if it's not my mum, my dad, and my sister. So to be able to have those girls in boarding school tell us what boarding life was like for them, was really interesting for me, because I already knew what it felt like as a young person not to be able to be with my mum and dad and my sister for that 12 months. And I just really wanted to kind of understand what the schools were putting in the way of supports to help to strengthen that feeling of connection and that feeling of family when they're not with family. Yeah. And it was very interesting to see how that, because one of the schools, all girls boarding school that we delivered to, we said to them, we want everybody who's boarding because they're family, because they all eat, sleep, that's their family here.
Yeah.
So it didn't
sure.
matter whether they were Indigenous or not.
Yeah.
And it was a really beneficial sharing.
And Julie, did you find that helped with lessen the homesickness?
Well, it certainly gave everybody a better understanding of one another's, because we start off doing that where's your mob from, and obviously the non-Indigenous girls, when we pull out the Indigenous languages map, would say to us, "Oh, but we're not Indigenous." And I went, "But what, you're not from this country? Like I'm asking, where in this country
Yeah.
do you know your mob has either lived now or lived at some stage?" So getting them included, because you're part of this conversation, you walk this journey, you're Australians on this country with our First Nations or Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander, young people.
Yeah, definitely.
And you are part of our future as you walk that journey with them.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well done.
So it was good, because then what we do is we relate, where have we been to that you might have lived or your family are from, that we've spoken to your community already, So it gave them that full circle connection thing, which is, they look at you and go, "Hey, so Sacia," or whatever other community it might be. And then when you can tell them something beautiful about their own community that you've seen, that's kind of really, there is something really special.
Now, Derek's got another comment there. He said it's a challenge when faced with differing cultural expectations. Traditionally, we share as collective. We all, our mob, are included, as opposed to a more individualistic, focused approach of possessions, etc. I hope that makes sense. We worked with young people on building a community of care and resilience. Now, Derek, with all those big words, you're really testing me, brother.
Yes.
Maybe you should hang upside down for a minute, Jack. It'll make you feel much better.
I think you might have got too fast in my head, I think.
Yeah, no, I know where Derek's coming from. Yeah, good viewpoint, mate. That's really good. And that's
we love your
we've been
comments,
seeing,
Derek, and take notice of JB, brother. With you keep using your big words.
Yeah.
He's helping. He's helping to build the vocabulary.
And while we're there
That's
too,
right,
I'd just like to thank Derek and Rochelle for their wonderful donation towards our gathering that happened last week as well. So thank you two very much. It was beautiful.
Thanks, Derek. Yes.
Lovely.
Well done.
Great work. Well, all I can say is, I love the fact that this 5 years strong call to connection, not call to action necessarily, is such a great opportunity for so many people. And it's certainly, I think, one of those things when I'm talking to people about what sort of other supports can we find for people when they're trying to figure out ways to stay, with their social emotional well-being stronger. It's nice to be able to say, well, I know a couple of fellas who host a little bit of a yarn up, and that might be something you'd like to have a look at, because there's always, it's great to have more options so people can choose the things that make them feel that little bit happier, like, joining this so you can see someone hang upside down, or, you never know what you might have.
As I said, Julie, now we've got that on video, so I mean that's not going anywhere. That goes straight up on YouTube. So,
I was going to say straight to the full room.
Well done is all I can say.
Well, that's okay. I don't mind making myself look silly, because as long as somebody else gets a smile.
Yeah, and we certainly got that. So
excellent. Well, all I can say is I love what you fellas do, and we certainly need more of it, because people need something that they don't have to necessarily walk out the door to find, and finding your tribe sometimes is a little bit hard.
Yep.
And I think look, I think you're right, Julie, and I think like it's something that we didn't know how long it was going to go for. It started in COVID, so and it was just we're probably being a little bit selfish as well because we were both struggling a little bit. We were stuck at home. We weren't able to get into the community and do our work, so it was probably a little bit selfish at the time, but like just to bring mob together and the wonderful people that joined in from over in Wales and Canada and New Zealand, and it's just amazing to think that everyone can come together and everyone's talking and all those sort of things. So it's just something that we didn't realise would take off so well. So.
Yeah, it obviously spoke to something that was missing for people. So great work. And I'm more than happy when I'm talking to these fellas for day 2 tomorrow to go in and say, you know what? You talk about men's sheds are somewhere that is a good safe space, particularly for men. This is a great safe space for, pretty well anyone who wants to be part of the conversation. So thank you for the invitation, and it's been a pleasure. As I said, I've watched a couple of your back streams to see some of your other guests, and it's incredible to see people, sharing all of that stuff, to know what's going on, and to have people joining you from all over the world, even.
Yeah, look, as I said, it's been amazing, and we really love it, and we can't wait for it to go another 10 years, CJ.
It's good to have goals.
You got to have goals. You got to have goals.
So Charlie, you'll
got to have some goals. Well, actually,
you'll be doing some from your whatever your next location is.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, Julie. I guess we can, no matter where we were and where we are, we can always catch up. And I always say catching up's fantastic. Especially with good mates, and it's really, really, really keeps us connected, I guess. So, but it's not going to be a problem. I think it might be a bit dark where I will be because it might be middle of the night or something. But anyway, I'll be there.
Sitting up in bed, quietly whispering to your device.
Yeah. And then get the pillow over the back of the head from Michelle.
Turn that phone off.
Yeah. But what I would say is it's such a good opportunity because everybody needs to be able to reach out and know that, there's always somewhere or someone in that space to have a yarn to. So keep up the great work, and I hope to see you on another stream at some stage. Love to check in and hear how things are going with you fellas.
No, thank you, and we'd love to have you back on, maybe up the right way this time. Next
when I work
but as I said, Julie, it's something that's been a first for us, so we'll take it.
Excellent. Yeah. You've got everybody chatting going, who's the strange woman hanging upside down on the camera?
Who's that one hanging upside down?
Yeah, fruit bat woman. That my totem. No, kidding. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go. I'm going to dinner, but I will catch up with you fellas at some stage. Yeah. And then I'm going to back up for a day 2 of delivery as Charlie does tomorrow. So you guys take care, keep your cup filled, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Julie. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Julie. You too. Bye.
Yeah, have a good dinner. Enjoy the night.
Yeah, enjoy. Now, we've got a couple other people there. Derek said, JB, care for self or others is never selfish. It's the opposite. It's giving unconditionally. Oh, thanks, brother. I would take that as a compliment. And, we really appreciate that. We've got Jeff Sentence there, and he said, hello, brother Jeff. How are you? When are you going to come on for a yarn? Now, Derek, you need to come back on and say g'day because it's been a while since you've been on. We've got Deb Doherty there. Hi, Deb. And welcome for the night. And when are you going to come on for a yarn?
Yes, absolutely, Deborah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, mate. Talking about young people, do you reckon they help decide the election, the Australian election?
Oh, geez, it's a when you invite me, Jeff Senton said, I'm inviting you, brother. What do you want? A written invitation.
Yeah, cordially invited.
You're cordially invited for next week, Jeff, if you want.
Oh, Deborah,
Just
you're not
let
too
us know.
shy.
Come on, Deb.
Not too shy.
Charlie and myself will look after you.
Yeah.
Just watch some of Charlie's curly questions, though.
Yeah, no, you're right, Deborah. He's only joking. Yeah, he's
I am only joking.
Yeah,
We'll both look
right.
after you, Deb.
Next week.
Okay, next week then. There you go. We've got Jeff
There you
Sentence.
go. Sold. We'll book you
Sold
in.
to the highest bidder. Jeff Sentence, you're on.
You're on. Yeah.
I'm putting them in calendar and we'll be sending you an invite, brother.
Yeah. I'm in Newenden. Oh. What are you doing in Newenden, Deborah? Anyway, we'll hear from you in Newenden. Yes. Yeah, well, there's been a lot that happened over the last couple of weeks, mate. And, we definitely
look.
Yes. What the heck?
It's been massive, brother. I mean, we got back from our gathering Sunday afternoon and straight back into it. And we've been up at Chinchilla, and on Friday we've got another one in Toowoomba. So just hit the road running, and it's exciting, but it's also it takes a little bit out of you. So we've also LB's also got us on the carnivore diet, mate. So we actually ran our half marathon in Toowoomba a couple of weeks ago. Did really well. LB, despite being crook for a couple of weeks before that, she pulled through, and she was a real gun in doing it. So we're aiming for our next event, but we're just trying to drop a couple of kilos at the moment, and we're doing this carnivore diet. And you would think it would be really easy to do, but it is one of the hardest things I've ever done, to be honest. So this is day 4.
Yep.
Day 2 and day 3 were pretty horrible, to be honest. So you're not having any of those carbs, any of those sugars, and those sort of things. So it is quite hard. So
yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, well, the problem with me, I like my fruit, but I love eating fruit.
Well, that's exactly what we said, brother. We said we love our fruit, we love our veggies, So, well, I don't know. We said we'd do it for 30 days. We'll try and stick to it for that. But I think we're missing our veggies and our fruit. So
yeah, well, they say you should, if you go on a carnivore diet, you need to have a break from it after a while. So get into something else and then go back on it again.
Well, there we go. There's CJ's gone again. That internet playing up again, and we're all probably used to CJ over the 5 years. He has a bit of trouble with his internet every now and then, and we keep telling him that he needs to pay the bill. But that's the way it goes. Yeah, we missed CJ. He's off again. So I'm going to end it here now. Jeff Sentence, you're on. I will send you the link, brother, and you're on for next week, 5:30. I'll have to tell your cousin Brett to watch and make sure that you're telling the right stories, brother. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and Julie for hanging upside down there for a while. and CJ for making himself available, seeing that he's in Cairns visiting, and well, he's working, but he's also got some sorry business there as well. So he's back again. So let's just bring him on to say goodbye. Here he is. He's back. We're just saying that
That's
you
the
need to
second
pay
time
the bill, brother.
I know, bloody hell. I just put another 20 cents in, mate. I hope it just lasts a long, fair while so I can get actually say goodbye to everyone. But anyway, yeah. I just fed the machine. So, hey, no, it's bloody jumped off me twice while we were talking to Julie as well, and it just went straight off. Like,
Yeah. So we're going to quit while we're ahead, brother. So well done. Good to see your face, your smiling face. Good to have Julie hanging upside down there. Nice to hear everyone saying hello. And we've got Jeff Sentence on next week. So
yes,
we'll send him the link and we'll get him on and we'll have a yarn with Jeff.
yes, we have.
All right, so over and out from us.
No
I'll
worries.
give you the last
Okay.
word, CJ.
Yeah, well, you've got the yes. Oh, look, take care, everyone. Look, what is it now? Is it coming into winter here? I don't know.
Yeah.
It must be coming into winter soon.
Yes.
So, yeah, look after yourselves.
CJ?
Take care of your family. Love to you all, and up the Blues.
Up the Blues. We won last week again, brother. So, and the other thing is it is getting very cold here in Pittsworth, mate.
Oh, there you go. See? Actually, I got here and it was cold in Cairns, mate. Believe it or not.
Yeah, you're showing off now.
Oh, it was cold.
We're in Cairns next
Cold
week
because of
too.
it. That's what's going on.
All right, over and out for now. Over and out for now.
Cheers, mate.